Okay, so today we're going to go over how to cover the face of a creative tonie with some hot glue so you don't have to do clay or anything like that. This is my testing tonie, so don't mind how it looks right now. It's just in a really funky state because I like to do a lot of different tests on him. First thing that I'm going to show you is one of my favorite hot glue tricks. If you're low in the barrel on it, you can add another one by just adding a dot of glue and sticking it to it, and that way if you're kind of like at a point where it won't go through all the way, that'll help make sure it actually holds into place, so you don't have to try to do that a little bit later. Anyways, so what you do with this is you just basically kind of pile it all on in the center, and you just do a big puddle like this. I do one good squeeze and then kind of work with the bead that it has, making sure not to drip off of the edge at all. My daughter's here as my cheerleader, so if you hear any gabs, she's just giving her input on that. But so we're gonna just kind of let that fall down into the corner there, and then kind of bring that down. This has a good amount. We're going to add a little bit more just so we can kind of keep that going. You want to, when you're adding, you want to do it while it's still like kind of that clear color. That way it will, see how it just kind of blends together really easily? It'll blend that way together. If you do it when they're at two different temperatures, it's not going to go together as well. And then, so we kind of have that corner built up. We're just going to keep bringing this down over here. And you can see the bead of it, like the heat of the bead going down. But it's not really going down a lot, so we're going to add some more while it's still clear. And work with that. Sloping over. And now this is a little bit of a tricky point because it has two beads because of that add. So you want to be careful and focus on both areas when you're doing that. Changing the direction that it's falling will help to avoid a mess from happening. So if you can't control the one drop, because we have here and also here, so we're going to again shift the position and try and bring it over into this corner here, and just kind of continue to work with that bead as it's going. I'm going to fill along this edge here. Forgive my shaky hands, I just had some coffee, and no matter what, it always does that to me. Okay, so now we're going to kind of work by pulling it downward so we can get that one center bead going again. Because if you look, we have like 5, just because of all those adds that we had. And then bring it on its back, pulling it down, and continuing to work around with it. I'm going to close up this chin area here and along the side. And along this side too. And then again, have it facing down to let gravity just bring that to the center so it has like a nice domed effect. It's kind of piling right up here over by the eyes, so I'm bringing it more to the center. But down here by the chin is getting a little double chinny. So just continue to work. It got pointed up by the eyebrows, so I'm bringing it to the back and just shifting it down that way and continuing to work with it. This is about the domed effect that we're wanting to get. Honey, do you mind checking if this looks okay on the camera? So it'll kind of do that effect there. And then as it's cooling, you'll notice that the color will change from kind of like this clear color to kind of like this hot glue color. Once it gets to that, then it'll be cooled off and you'll be good to go. But until then, you're gonna wanna continue to work with the bead as it's going. And see along the rim, it's starting to give a little bit of that kind of cloudy color. But we're just going to keep doing this until it does end up fully cooling down. We'll stop the video right here and then I will start it back up once it's done so you can see the final product. Okay, so it's been a little bit of time. It's had a chance to cool. You can see the color change that happened right there. It's still warm to the touch when you actually touch to it, but the outside is cooled down to the point where you can touch it without actually having any sort of issues with messing up what we worked on here. It's a very smooth surface, as you can see, but you want it to be fully cooled down before you actually start painting on it. So just definitely make sure that it's completely cooled down to the touch, that it's truly hardened even down to the core of it, since there's a thick layer on there before you actually start painting. And then once you do, I personally use an exterior grade sealant. I like to use Ringo Rosie sealant. They are something that I have to import into the States from the UK, but I do find that they are absolutely worth the price. There's been a couple of people in the Creative Tonies group on Facebook that have done group orders. If you're thinking about getting some of that sealant, I would definitely recommend it. I've had other people say that their Railer sealant that they use or other polyurethanes that they use tend to chip when they paint over hot glue. I have not had that issue personally, but I do exclusively use that exterior grade Ringo Rosie sealant. It is a toy safe sealant, and there's one that I made for a friend of mine about 2 years ago where I did basically this exact same thing on another tonie, and it has held up just fine. So if that's something that you're thinking about doing and you find that that is a problem you run into with your finished product afterwards, I would highly recommend looking into theirs. And then even in that time that we're talking, I can feel that it's cooled down, but it's still warm. So again, I would definitely wait till it's fully cooled down before you end up doing anything with it. I don't know if, I know a lot of people live in colder climates than we do in Arizona, so I would maybe not recommend putting it outside just so it can do a true cool down temperature. I know it might be tempting, but you just want to make sure that it's actually cooled and not cold, meaning fully cured with everything with that. But otherwise, this is how you do that. It's pretty easy. You just have to work with the bead itself. You have to be patient with it. I do find having a temperature controlled hot glue gun helps as well. So I have this one, I had it up to 160 Celsius. Again, I find that that helps just because I can go a higher temperature if I want to do a lot of it and just kind of like pull it up to be able to have it settle into the crevices a little bit more. Or if I want to kind of give it a little bit more of a texture, I'll do a lower temperature. So it does help to have the varying degrees if that's something that you think you might do more of. I'm going to put my link tree in the comments below, which has the link for the Ringo Rosie sealant and also a link for the hot glue gun. These are just products that I personally use. This is not like a sponsored thing or anything, so feel free to use it however you feel is appropriate. If you have any questions, let me know, and I will try to answer the best I can. Thank you guys so much. Make sure to like and subscribe if you found this video helpful today. Bye.